Hello Flat Earth believers, this is Darrell E. Berry Jr. back on my 6th Flat Earth Challenge. This challenge is a bit different as I'll directly address a few Flat Earth believers, namely Andrew Clegg, the Mark Dose 9, Horry Sheet, and DITRH, or Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, who is apparently David Weiss. My 5th Flat Earth Challenge addressed solar eclipse frequency as it would be if the moon and sun behaved as many Flat Earth proponents believe versus how often solar eclipses occur in reality. Here's the link to the 5th Flat Earth Challenge and in the video description. I've put out 5 Flat Earth Challenges so far and 1 Flat Earth response. Since putting out these videos, I've had a handful of responses. Andrew Clegg responded in the video comments to my first Flat Earth Challenge, which addressed how the sun would be dragging through the earth if several of the things Flat Earth believers have claimed played out in tandem with what we see in reality. Andrew Clegg said, "Stupid theories of sun dragging through the earth nonsense." My reply in the video comments, "I'm not sure if you are referring to the Flat Earth position as nonsense or my pointing it out as nonsense. Care to clarify?" He didn't respond back, so there you go. In response to my 5th challenge addressing solar eclipse frequency in reality versus how often they would occur if the sun and the moon behaved as many Flat Earth proponents believe, Tremarctos 9 said, "You are misinformed. No real Flat Earther claims this and you are spreading disinformation. The only proof you need for a Flat Earth is water does not curve, bend, or conform on the exterior of anything, especially a spinning ball." First, thank you for replying, Tremarctos 9. I notice you say that 1. I am misinformed, 2. No, quote, real Flat Earther, unquote, claims these things. I'm assuming that by, quote, these things, you mean how these, what, fake Flat Earthers say the earth and sun behave, which will result in the great inconsistencies with reality that is addressed in my 5th challenge video. You also say that 3. Water does not curve, bend, or conform on the exterior of anything, especially a spinning ball. Okay, point 1. If I am misinformed, then please inform me. Please present the, quote, true and, quote, real way that the moon and sun work, and how you discovered these things. It is interesting that you Flat Earth believers will claim something we say is wrong or inaccurate, but you don't provide the facts. So, Tremarctos 9, I challenge you to inform us how the sun and moon really operate. What are the facts of the matter? How does it all really work? Second point, you claim that no, quote, real Flat Earther believes the things I pointed out about the sun and the moon. Well then, let's look at DEBJ, one of the reference, quote, experts on Flat Earth. Here's the video I referenced. I noticed that as of now, the video has over 234,000 views. DEBJ has over 37,000 subscribers. He spoke at the Flat Earth International Conference in 2017 as referenced here. He was interviewed by ABC Nightline at the 2017 conference as well. He also spoke at South Korea's Flat Earth Conference this year in 2018. In my 5th challenge video, I showed a clip from his video of he himself demonstrating the movement of the sun and the moon over a map with his own hands using a flashlight and another object standing in for the moon. Okay, now what makes DEBJ a, quote, fake Flat Earther? And what makes the, quote, real ones, quote, real Flat Earthers? I'm assuming you are a real one since you know what those who aren't, quote, real believe, and you're in a sense denouncing them. If you are a real Flat Earther, what makes you a real Flat Earther, and what makes DEBJ and those who follow and esteem his perspectives, quote, fake Flat Earthers? Please explain this, quote, real Flat Earther versus, quote, fake Flat Earther. And also, please present a real Flat Earther so they can tell us the truth of what is going on with the sun and moon. Or if you are a real Flat Earther, again, will you please tell us the facts? Third point, I'll just present these pictures and video clips which show the waters of the earth curving around the earth due to Earth's gravity. And the earth is round, I might add, also due to gravity. Any questions? I look forward to your response. Another response I received was through Skype from a Flat Earth believer calling himself Horry Sheet. He claims, just like Tremarco's 9, that in my Flat Earth Challenge videos, I was refuting or debunking things that Flat Earth believers don't really believe, and that no one is set on the sun being the dimensions I referenced in my first challenge. Well, I've seen Flat Earthers share those dimensions, but it's typical that when Flat Earth, quote, facts are shown to fail in whatever way, suddenly they are not what they really believe. It's those, quote, fake Flat Earthers. It's those who aren't experts. Those values, quote, are not official. No real Flat Earther believes them, unquote, or what have you. And apparently DeMarble isn't the Flat Earth authority according to Horry either. Horry claims that people like a Flat Earth proponent named DITRH, or Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, can, quote, crush my arguments, or, quote, show me the light, or something to those effects. In the end, I agreed to go ahead and talk to this DITRH, as well as another, I guess, quote, real Flat Earther called Anthony Riley. Before then, I'll address some things so you can already know what it will take to, quote, crush me, or, quote, show me the light. First, I pointed out in my videos that if I have something wrong, to tell me, to provide the facts. Horry then informed me that he didn't even watch any entire video, but skimmed one or two. I made sure to link for him and give him the timestamp of me saying that if I have it wrong, then provide the facts and let us know how the world really works. All that you seem to want to say is, oh, that's wrong, and NASA is lying, and that picture is fake, and they are pulling the wool over your eyes. Well, simply show us a real picture of the Earth and explain how the sun and moon really work. Horry Sheet, DITRH, and Anthony Riley, please present some definite answers as to the size, shape, location, and composition of the sun, or lack of composition, since Horry is now saying that he thinks it's electromagnetic, or whatever. And show us and tell us how you discovered it and evidence of all this. Horry admitted that Flat Earth is a lot of speculation when he was saying that he thinks the sun is electromagnetic. I asked him to present what evidence he has of this, and he showed a video of a guy apparently igniting or illuminating different types of gases. I asked him how this proves that the sun is electromagnetic, and he was suddenly quiet and looking into the air. He couldn't say. It's typical of Flat Earth believers to just make stuff up or to just present things as, quote, proof or, quote, evidence that have nothing to do with the point they presented it to prove. If you do have some proof or evidence of the sun being electromagnetic or whatever, and wherever and whatever size and distance it really is, then please present it. That is one of the things it will take to, quote, crush my arguments or, quote, show me the light. Some definite facts about the world, since you claim to be, quote, woke, and you claim to have superior knowledge and to not be deceived anymore. Secondly, DITRH, referring to my second Flat Earth challenge, make 10 years of astronomical predictions using your Flat Earth knowledge, which apparently is free from the, quote, lies of science and NASA and such, and make these predictions more accurate than what these people in NASA and astronomy and all that you all claim are lies and crooks are doing. The eclipse of August 2017 happened just as predicted. Predict the next 10 years' worth of eclipses, but make it even better. Predict even the next one using only your, quote, superior knowledge of the world, and show us how you did it. A more accurate prediction using your Flat Earth knowledge. Perhaps since several of my videos relate to the sun in some way, Horry referred me to a video from DITRH that he claimed proves the sun doesn't set, but instead just fades away as it moves away in the sky or whatever. I remember this same Horry showing me a video a year or so ago that said, quote, perspective made the sun seem to set and go below the horizon. I take it that the idea that perspective makes the sun set had been debunked so soundly that Flat Earth believers had to change their tune. And here they are now trying to say that the sun can be recorded to not really set, but to simply fade away in the air as it moves away in the sky. This video is by his DITRH, titled Fool on the Hill Sees the Sun Going Down and the Eyes in His Head. Apparently it's supposed to show the sun disappearing in the air as it, quote, moves away, totally in contradiction to what Horry Sheet told me before. But Horry did say he knows a lot more now. So now they admit that the sun wouldn't be recorded to set on the flat Earth, as it would be moving around in the air or firmament or wherever, but instead would seem to fade away or fade out. Horry challenged me to explain how this worked, how the sun could just disappear like that if it's really setting because the earth is turning. I informed him that there's no solar filter on the camera. There's glare obscuring what's really going on. And this is the second video he showed without a solar filter trying to prove something about the sun in the same conversation. Earlier in the same conversation, he linked that gas ignition video, and I pointed out glare and that it doesn't have a solar filter and the overpowering of the camera. And here Horry was again, trying to use this unfiltered video to prove something, as if he was ignoring what I said when I said it the first video, or as if he just couldn't understand or something. I'm saying to him, exasperated, it doesn't have a solar filter. We just talked about this a little while ago. Don't you do video work? Aren't you aware of camera glare? It's amazing. Finally, he said he was going to talk to DITRH about it and see if he can make a sunset video without a solar filter. And the following video is what he shows me. And with his posting of the video link at the Skype, Horry said, and here it is, ND16 solar filter installed. It didn't disappear from the bottom to top. Tips hat. In our previous conversation, I confirmed to him that with a filter, a solar filter, the sun would clearly be seen disappearing behind the horizon from the bottom up. Now let's pause here for a second. Notice what filter he's using. In a bit, we'll pause again. Look here. And here. And here. Here. And here. When I saw the idiocy displayed in this video that DITRH made, and in Horry Sheet's believing in it, my resigned response was, looks like you win then, brother. Grats. May Flat Earth take over the world. I am beginning to suspect that it may simply be beyond possible for these people to think at a level that would allow them to accept that the world is round. The thinking, intelligent, scientific-minded people out there can already see it. As soon as I saw the video, I thought, that can't be a solar filter. It's because you can see the sky through the filter. You can make out the color of trees. It's clearly not a solar filter. Let me show you an image taken through a proper solar filter. Notice that this filter filters 1/1000th of 1% of light. That's 1/100,000th of light. That's 0.001% of light. According to this chart, your so-called, quote, solar filter allows 6.25% of light, whereas a proper solar filter allows only 0.001% of light. Not only visible light, but other types of light like infrared. That's why in my pictures, the sky and everything else but the sun is blotted out in black through the filter. But through your filter, we can still see the trees and the sky. Here is an image of the sun from July 14th through a proper solar filter. Here's the sky through a proper solar filter. Notice it's just blackness. Here's the sun on the same day. I couldn't get a proper sunset because there were some trees at my location, but you can see how it looks behind trees. And again, I'm using a cell phone. Here's some images from the 19th when I can get a proper sunset. So I started several minutes before the sunset to make sure I can catch the full thing. And notice all around the sun there's only darkness. A bit later, I'll take the filter off So you can see what it looks like without the filter on. This looks more like what his image looks like. So here's it without the filter. Notice it looks like your image, DITRH, without the filter. Now again, the sun with the filter. From a bright shiny thing with glare to an orb in darkness. Again, the sun without the filter. You can see the color of the sky, the color of the sun, light shining in the air and the clouds and the atmosphere. Here again with the filter. Nothing but darkness around the sun. That's a proper solar filter. 1/100,000th of light. Right now it's about 8:30, somewhere around there, p.m. Central Time. All right, we're getting close to the sunset now. Here's the sun again without the filter. With the filter, you can see it's starting to go below the horizon from the bottom up. Our camera is turned to the side, but it gives you a fuller view of what's going on. You see about half of the sun right now. And this is the raw video. Hasn't been cropped or edited in any way. You can see the tip of the sun as it goes down from the bottom up, disappearing. And notice that the majority of the sun is past the horizon, but the very tip of it is still emitting enough light. With the filter I can't see anything, but without the filter it's still shining. Which would explain why his photos without a filter or with a so-called solar filter, an aerial filter, which I'll get into, can look like the sun is disappearing because there's this glare that's filling up the camera lens. But notice with the filter you can't even see anything. And he's thinking it's the sun there up in the air disappearing. And there we are. On this day, there was so much moisture in the air. With the filter, my camera couldn't even pick up anything. But without the filter, I still can see half the sun and the rest of the way setting. So even without a filter, I'm not seeing what DITRH is saying is going on. Of course, since you can't even determine what a proper solar filter is, makes me wonder, can you even operate your camera properly? Is there some kind of issue with the equipment that you're not recognizing? And so on and so forth. It took less than 5 minutes to scroll back and see that his filter said would look like Omark ND16. I found that it's a Sandmark aerial filter, such as this one sold here and here. Nowhere in either of these links is this so-called solar filter called a solar filter. The ND16 filter is called an quote aerial filter on the Sandmark website. Sandmark says this filter is made to quote capture epic aerial footage. The word solar is not presented anywhere by Sandmark on this page. And the same thing with the Amazon page. Nowhere in the product description is it referred to as a solar filter. The ND16 is an aerial filter, and all the pictures on both Sandmark and Amazon pages show daytime views of landscapes and such. This is clearly not meant to be a solar filter, and its filtering power shows that. So, this brings up certain questions. According to Horry Sheet, DITRH is an expert of flat Earth and can, quote, show me the light. Yet this, quote, expert apparently can't even determine what a solar filter is. So I ask you, where did you buy this solar filter from, this so-called solar filter? Do you have a link? I'd like to know exactly how you came to refer to this aerial filter as a solar filter. Did the product page you bought it from say it was a solar filter? If so, let's see. Or if the product page did not say it was a solar filter, how did you come to call it a solar filter? And even if the product page did say it was a solar filter, which I'm sure it didn't, how did you not know this was not a solar filter when you saw it or when you looked or filmed through it? Your so-called solar filter video recording of the sun shows a very low level of scientific acumen and a very low level of critical thinking on both your parts, both you, Horry Sheet, and you, DITRH, and perhaps a very low level of intelligence. It seems to be high school level science and maybe even middle school level science to know what a solar filter is and how to properly use one to look at and record the sun. You all claim flat earth is science, but you are demonstrating a very, very poor level of science. This is so poor a level of science that I don't see how it can really be considered science without insulting the word. I can understand why you two believe the earth is flat. So please explain yourselves, and your filter, and your video, DITRH, and you as well, Horry Sheet, since you championed it and called it a solar filter sun clip too. And you champion DITRH as an expert of flat earth. Next thing, DITRH and Horry Sheet, if you all intend to, quote, show me the light, or, quote, wake me up, or, quote, crush my position, is to show some proof positive of the flat earth. In talking with Horry Sheet, after he couldn't present any proof or evidence that the sun is electromagnetic, he started to go into talking about how NASA or the government or whoever is lying to us, and I cut him off and told him I'm not interested. Let me inform you of something. Complaining about NASA and saying they are lying doesn't prove the earth is flat. So I challenge you to present some proof positive that the earth is flat. And I challenge you to answer my previous challenges, which goes in the direction of doing that. Flat Earth Challenge 1, Sun Under the Clouds. If the size and distance and such these, quote, fake flat earthers gave for the sun are wrong, then give us the real size and shape, etc. of the sun. Flat Earth Challenge 2, 10 years of astronomical predictions. Present 10 years of astronomical predictions that are more accurate than the current predictions made with the, according to you, wrong globe model, and show us how you do it using only your supposedly more accurate knowledge of the flat earth. When are the eclipses going to occur? When are the planets going to be in opposition and retrograde and so forth? It doesn't matter if you say planets aren't real or what have you. I ask you now, dear TRH, as an expert, according to Horry, are planets really out there? Whatever the case, I saw Jupiter through my own telescope recently because it was predicted to be in opposition and large and bright in view. I saw Mars through my own telescope as well a few years back under the same circumstances. It was predicted to be close and its exact location in the sky was given. Farther still back, I saw Saturn through a very large telescope. You tell us with your so-called superior knowledge of how the world works, when and where we can see these planets under their various conditions. Or if you claim they are not planets, then tell us exactly what they are, and you predict their positions better than current astronomers and so forth, who are supposedly part of the, quote, globe lie, or who believe in the globe lie. Flat Earth Challenge 3. What causes buoyancy? Does gravity exist? You please tell us what your position is on that. The usual position I've heard from flat earthers is that gravity doesn't exist. If gravity doesn't exist, then please tell us what causes buoyancy. Flat Earth Challenge 4, Solar Eclipses, diameter of the moon's shadow. Please explain the positions of the sun and whatever it is that causes solar eclipses. Horry Sheet in one of his videos referred to other videos saying nothing is blocking the sun during a solar eclipse. You tell us, dear DITRH, as an expert, what exactly causes solar eclipses. Flat Earth Challenge 5, Solar Eclipse Frequency. Please explain the frequency of solar eclipses and how and why they occur on the flat Earth, since you claim this world is a flat world. We can see solar eclipses happen just as predicted on, quote, globehead sites like timeanddate.com and csky.org. So you tell us when the next one comes. You tell us when it will be. For the next 10 years, for instance, tell us when they will occur. Be more accurate than these sites, since apparently your knowledge is better. Whenever you two are ready to talk, Horry Sheet and DITRH, let me know. And the other one, Anthony Riley, as well.